Welcome to the Grab the Map podcast, where we don't just look at it, we grab the map. I'm your host, John Crutchfield, and today I've got a special guest. We're going to jump right into it. The guy is a phenomenal deal maker, likes doing deals in the Lee County, Mississippi area. Become a good friend of mine, a hustler, Darrien Linton, the man. So, Darrien, are you there?
I'm here. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, doing real estate deals. Made it to 2025, so I know this is going to be good. Tons of value you're going to bring to the folks listening to this podcast. Hey, if y'all listen to this podcast, why don't you also subscribe to this on YouTube? If you're watching this on YouTube, why don't you also subscribe to the podcast? It's on Spotify, it's on Apple, and you can also find us all over Instagram and Facebook at Grab the Map. So I want you to be connected. We love to connect with you. We do deals. We do real estate deals. So you got some money you want to invest. You've got some deals you need to move. Reach out to us. Let's see if we can work and help each other. But hey, I'm plugging while I should be getting ready to talk to Darrien. Darrien, I thought this would be a good episode because we've done quite a few deals together at this point. So
Mhm.
most of the people I bring on the podcast, I don't really know if they're actually doing the work. So since I know you're doing the work, I know exactly what to ask you. Not hating on any other podcast guests. You know how people be doing. But Darrien, why don't you just tell folks a little bit about you, your story, and then we'll get into your real estate experience. And what we're going to try to do is have some people leave today with some real actions they can take to get more real estate deals done. So, Darrien, you got the floor. Who is Darrien? Where did he come from?
So I'm Darrien Linton. I'm from a small town, Verona, Mississippi. I just like meeting people and talking to people. And so my passion for cooking actually led me into other avenues as far as real estate and stuff like that. But my passion for cooking is one of my biggest things. I love it. It just kind of allowed me to talk and meet a lot of different people and talk to different people. And that's how I actually came on. I think that's actually how me and you actually started talking face to face as you came and ate one day, and that's how we had a conversation.
Hey, man, way to meet somebody, right? You got some good food. You know how to market, man. Because I was looking at those pictures on Facebook. I was like, I gotta have me some of that. That looked fantastic. So great cook, but that doesn't really go along with real estate. So what kind of interested you in real estate?
So what interests me in real estate is if you look around, I mean, everybody has to have somewhere to stay. And I was kind of noticing just a lot of houses just kind of sitting around and sitting around. And so one day I'm on YouTube and I'm just looking around. I think I just typed in abandoned houses. And then I started researching and listening and watching people talking about abandoned houses. I was like, well, I see these houses all the time. And I was like, I wonder what I can do. And so I started researching wholesaling and things like that. And so I got into it uh, by just having curiosity of why these houses were abandoned and what could I do to maybe make some money off these houses that were just sitting around or people wouldn't use or stuff like that.
Okay, so how did that go? Like, how did you get started? Your first deal? How did that happen?
So I tried to do it. This was pre-COVID. I tried to do it pre-COVID and I just didn't have no direction. I didn't know what attorney to talk to. I didn't have a contract. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have
Hmm.
nothing. And so you fast forwarded a couple of years. So I didn't get anything done. So you fast forward like 2.5 years later, that's when I meet you. And we sat down, we talked. I come to the office and you sat down. I think we had like a 30-minute conversation. You just laid it out for me, just so simple to the way I was like, man, if I'd had this 2.5, 3 years ago, oh my God. And so
Hmm.
you laid it out, you gave me a contract, you showed me how to use the contract, you told me about the attorneys and stuff like that. And I think I was gone out of the office 30 minutes to an hour probably. And I called you and like, I got a deal.
Yeah, and it was actually a deal too. So what's funny about this is I tell a lot of people what I do. And I'm a former teacher, so people don't know I was a teacher. I like teaching, I like showing people stuff, probably to a fault because I don't like really charging probably what I should charge for stuff. Um, but I tell a lot of people what I do. So when you came first, I think I remember you DM'd me a few years before,
I did.
and I probably treated you like I treat most people. Like, yeah, you're probably not really gonna do anything. Or I might have even tried to help you, but I didn't hear back from you. That happens a lot. So the
Yeah.
second time, at that point, I think I had started to see some of your posts about your food. So I was
Hmm.
like, okay, this guy's like, I see him consistently doing stuff. Like he's a
Hmm.
grinder. And so when you came to the office, like that was a step that showed me that you were serious. I can't tell you how many times I have met people who will say they're going to do something and they don't show up. Like showing
Right.
up is most of the work, right? I'll
Right.
say, hey, I do a free meetup every Monday at this time.
Hmm.
Come to the meetup. I'll tell you anything you want to know. And you never hear from them again.
Right.
But if you let them, those same people will take a ton of your time in a one on one conversation.
Hmm.
So I probably told you, hey, come to the office, expecting that you weren't going to show, and then you showed up, so you got the time. So this is good for somebody listening to this. Maybe you want to do more deals or you're getting ready to do your first deal. Part of what attracted me to Darrien, started a relationship, is that I explained to him how the wholesaling process worked, and then he went and go did it. He went and did it. And when you called me back a couple hours later, I was like, ain't no way he got a deal in 2 hours. I was like, no way. So can you kind of describe what did you go do over that 2 hour period? Did you already kind of have something in the works? Like, how did that all work?
So I just went back to my neighborhood. I was familiar with my neighborhood. People knew me in my neighborhood. So I just kind of went back to my neighborhood. And as I was driving down the street, it was a for sale by owner sign. And so I poured in the yard and I knocked on the door and I just started talking to the people. Of course, I knew their kids and stuff like that. So we kind of was on a good leg right there. And so I started talking to him. And this particular house that he was living in, he was ready to sell it, but he didn't know what his next move was because he ended up being paralyzed because he ended up getting COVID. And he just didn't know what his next move was going to be, but he wanted to sell it. So then I don't know. I don't even know what made me ask him this question. I asked him, I said, so do you have anything else that you would like to sell at the moment? He said, yes. Go to this address and let me know what you think and come back. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah. So you instantly started talking to sellers,
Right.
which, hey, I don't know how I can beat this dead horse enough. All opportunities come from networking and conversations.
Hmm.
So if we're not talking, networking, and having conversations, we're going to get very few opportunities. People have all kinds of ways that they create these conversations. Darian's going to talk about some of the ways that he does this, but you might be sending mail, you might be cold calling, you might be doing some kind of online marketing, you might have some signs that you put in yards, you might have all kinds, but you got to be talking to the sellers on the phone, got to be
Hmm.
having conversations with the people. So, Darren, what's your favorite way right now to get deals?
I like driving for dollars. I like going out there in the neighborhoods, looking around, talking to neighbors and talking to people. I don't know why I like it so. I just like it. It's just fun to me, and I get a lot of deals done like that. Just riding around the neighborhoods, checking things out, and talking to people.
All right, so we're gonna break it down for people. Like, if you're riding a neighborhood, what are you looking for?
So today, Tupelo is Thursday, so it's trash day in Tupelo. So it's one of my favorite days to ride around Tupelo is trash day. So when you get to ride around on trash day, you get to look. All of our trash cans are green, so you can look all the way down the street and you can see those green trash cans. And so normally what happens is when you going down these streets and you don't see a trash can, so that's the indicator. Let me go down the street and go down here and look. And so then I can start compounding different things. So no trash can, or maybe the grass isn't cut, the bush is overgrown, maybe it's a broken window, no signs of life around the house, stuff like that. It kind of gives me my thought process of maybe this house is being neglected. Maybe nobody lives here. So I write that address down and I just keep driving. And I do that for about an hour or so every Thursday. Just do about an hour or so. And I put together a list like today. I picked up 15 of them today. And so I've been talking to people and calling people today, and we're talking and putting things together like that. So those trash cans give me an indicator that somebody doesn't stay there.
Okay, so let's break it down. So you're driving neighborhoods, you're looking for signs that I guess the person didn't come out to put their trash out.
Right.
Okay. That tells you, hey, let's go down the street and look a little bit closer and see is there something distressed about the property,
Right.
right? Then you're looking up the owner of the property and making contact. How
Right.
just we're gonna give people the game, man. How do they look up the owner? Like, how do you do that?
Well, so you get the address, and here in Mississippi, you can go to our county website and you can look it up by the tax deed, and that'll give you the person's name, and that'll give you the address if the mail's going there. Or you can do another thing is you can use Landglide. Landglide allows you to, while you're driving, it'll follow you through the neighborhoods, and you can pull up and look at the person's name, and it'll tell you their address, the property's address, and it also tell you if it's owner occupied or vacant or whatever. It'll tell you that too. And so if it says it's not owner occupied, just scroll down and it'll give you another mailing address that you can use. And then you would just take that name and that mailing address, and then you just skip trace it until you get the owner's telephone number.
So you're skip tracing to find the phone number. When you call these people, like obviously they're probably not expecting to hear from you. So what do you
Right.
say?
Hey, I was like, my name is Darren, and I was from Tupelo. I'm just riding around neighborhoods. I buy houses and things like that. And I seen today that the house at 123 Main Street, the grass is kind of overgrown. And I just got to thinking about maybe you guys would maybe consider selling it. Have you put any thought into it? And a lot of times they say, yeah.
Really? They say, yeah.
Like, yeah, we don't live there. It's been in the family for however long. It was my mom's house, and we stay on the other side of Mississippi.
Okay, let's just use it. I think let's make it real for people, right?
hmm
Because sometimes we oversimplify stuff, and if people are watching this later, they might go knock on three doors and it doesn't work, and they'd be like, "Oh, there was some more online bullcrap." Like, how many doors do you have to knock to get somebody to talk to you? Like, how many people do you have to call? Like, if you said you did it today, I think you said if you do 15 of them, how many people will you actually be able to get on the phone? And then how many times will you get a deal?
Well, normally it takes probably about 100, 50, 70, 50 to 100 before you get one. So people will answer the phone, but a lot of times they'll be like, no, we're not interested right now. Or maybe later, or I got to talk to somebody, or they just don't answer the phone, period. But it takes a number of calls to get it. So you're talking about 50 to 100, unless a big gap in between. But for me, it's between 50 and 100 calls before I pick up a deal.
Yeah, I was expecting a number like that, but I would imagine that when you're talking to those people, at least you know that the house is vacant. Like you
Right.
know that they have some kind of property issue because you've seen the
Mm-hmm.
property. I know what we do is more virtual, so a lot of times I'm not seeing the property. I'm looking on Zillow, I'm looking
Right.
on Google. But okay, let's fast forward. So you call the person, they say that they may be interested in selling the property. How do you decide what to offer them? How do you decide? How do you even analyze that? Like, how do you know what you're going to give them for the property?
So just ask some basic questions. You just ask them when the last time somebody lived there. Is there any power, any water on? Can you remember the last time any repairs were done? Can you tell me if it needs any repairs or stuff like that? A lot of times they can give you most of the details. And if they live pretty close, we'll be like, hey, would you like to just set up a meeting? We'll come through there and walk through the house, and I can make you an offer then. And I kind of know per neighborhood what most buyers want to buy it. So it makes it really easy because I'm talking to buyers all the time, people who buy a lot. And so I'm able to go into certain neighborhoods and know, okay, if I get this house for this price, then I know I can make this price.
Okay, so usually your buyer will tell you what to offer, or your seller will tell you what they want to sell it for. Like, how do you know if it's a good deal, though?
So if I'm talking to a seller and the seller is just say I'm in the neighborhood of just Heaven Acres or just say South Tupelo in
Hmm.
those neighborhoods I know I have buyers who own house. Like I know you own houses in these neighborhoods. Most of the time when I go past, you own one or two or three on the same street, and then it's
Hmm.
several other landlords that own houses there too. And so I know from talking to you guys constantly that you'll buy this particular house over and over and over again at this particular price. If XYZ is right, you'll buy it at this price every single time. No ifs, no ands, no buts.
Hey, that's interesting because I still use this strategy, right? Like these days, I probably wholesale or flip more than I hold rental properties for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want a whole lot of rentals, but I do the same thing. Like I got off a call this morning with a guy in Atlanta and tells me what zip code he's buying in. He tells me he's all cash. He's got $2 million in his bank account. And he's like, if you can find this from you built from the year 2000 to 2005, like I'm gonna buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then I tell my team, let's go look for houses like this. We're gonna go to the MLS and we're gonna make offers on everything on the MLS. Because
Mm-hmm.
he's not even thinking that I could just go to the MLS and lowball. Like there's going to be opportunities that come right off the MLS from you
Right.
just making an offer, right? Then we're going to cold call that area and ask people, right? Your strategy might be to go in that zip code and look for the ones that don't have trash cans. I've heard you mention that several times, so it must work.
It works.
It must work. So I love the idea of finding buyers, figuring out what buyers will pay, and that just makes it so much more simple than trying to guess, right? It makes it so much more simple than trying to guess. And every buyer is different. I mean, you know this. Some buyers will pay more than other buyers.
You're
Like,
absolutely right.
especially me. Like right now, I want it for free. Like I want it cheap. I want to steal it. That's me. But I have buyers who will pay full price. And at times in my business, I have been the guy that will pay full price for stuff,
Right.
you know, just for a variety of reasons. Maybe I own the one next door, so I want that one. You know, maybe it's the timing is good because I'm broke, right? The bank account getting low. Maybe, you know, at different times people have different motivations for why they're willing to buy or sell at certain prices. And you never can find out what the situation is unless you're making offers and having the conversation. So, Darrien, that's pretty cool that you are willing to jump right in there, have those conversations. All right. So, obviously, I buy from you. I love that you send me stuff. So, don't stop. However, like, how did you go about finding these other buyers? Like, obviously, we met on social media. You posting pictures of food, which I'm trying to do better about my food. If y'all hadn't heard, I'm posting every day right now on social media. I'm trying to lose 100 pounds in 2025. So if you want to follow me, you want to follow this story, it's going to be hard, y'all, because sugar is real and fast food is addictive. But hey, what's today? Day 16, and I'm still working that thing on out. So go to Instagram at grab the map if you want to follow that journey. Darrien, like, how do you find these buyers?
It's really easy. So if you're looking on Landglide and you're going through neighborhoods, you can see LLCs, right? So it might be grab the map on 6, 7 houses on this block, and they might own 2 or 3 on the next block and 4 or 5 on the next block. And you can see the next landlord, they own 2 or 3. Right. It's the same thing over and over. And so the only thing you're doing is finding those landlords that own a good amount of homes in that neighborhood, and you just call them and you build a relationship. They tell you, yeah, I'm still buying. Yeah, I like to buy in this neighborhood all the time because it's easy for me to rent out. All my guys know they all the same square footage, all the same bedrooms, bathrooms. I love it. And so just build that bar just like that. And they tell you, I'll pay this right here for it. If you find me this, I'll pay this for it.
So Landglide is an app. There's a ton of apps that you can use right now to figure out who the owners of properties are. I love Darian's strategy for finding buyers. This is also an excellent strategy, by the way, to find sellers.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you own more than one property,
Mm-hmm.
you have properties you want to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
If you have more than one properties, everybody wants to get into rental properties. Okay, I love rental properties. They changed my life. However, some of my properties changed my life for not in not such a good way. Right. So sometimes we just want to get rid of these things and we just want to be done with them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's another good way to find sellers is to find people that own multiple properties call them and just ask them, hey, do you have any products you're willing to, any properties you're looking to sell? Okay,
Mhm.
it's another great strategy. So Darian, let's keep walking through this because this can't be easy, right? Like you got to talk to 50 to 100 people to get a deal. And then you find buyers, maybe you find somebody that's willing to sell. Like, what keeps you motivated to grind like this? Because it is a grind, right?
It
What
is.
keeps you motivated to grind like this?
I mean, I love closing day, and closing day happens. It happens quite a few times for me. So I mean, I like it. It's fun. I love being able to help some people. People a lot of times they have these homes, they need work, and they they are afraid to like list them on the MLS because they need work or they're in bad shape and they're wanting to sell, but they just don't know how to. So I come along with a solution, and they're happy. Then I have a buyer who's needing more. They have money and they just need to put it on rental property. They're looking to buy. They're happy, and then I'm in the middle, and I'm happy too. So it's helping the seller and helping the buyer both meet their goals.
Yeah, so I love that. Like you're a connector, you're a mediator, but you also like the payday. I think we all like the paydays.
Mm-hmm.
What's been your favorite payday? Like you don't have to, you can give as much or as little detail as you want, but what's one of your favorite deals and maybe talk us through it?
We talked about the one on Barnes Crossing, the one on Barnes Crossing Road. It was one of those, man. I had been searching for this guy for probably 2.5 years. Probably two
Jeez.
and a half years. Been searching for him. And I just put the letter. I would put letters on the door, and I would come out and be gone. Like, well, he never calls. And then come to find out, he said the neighbor. He thinks the neighbor had been taking the letters off the door. 'Cause I guess he wanted to buy the property, but he didn't want to sell it to him. So 2.5 years, me putting these letters on the door. I go by every couple months, put the letter on the door, put the letter on the door. And I went by, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna put one more. He might call, he may not. I put that letter on the door, and probably 3 months later, I get a phone call. Hey, this is Randy. How you doing? I was like, Randy. He's like, the guy who owns the house on Bars Cross the Road. I said, man, I've been looking for you for 2.5 years. I'm so glad you
Yeah,
called me. I'm so glad you
yeah,
called me. I said, man, I know you read my letter. I'm interested in buying the house. And he was like, man, I'm interested in selling it. Can we meet over there today? And so we go over there and meet today. We walk through. Of course, I mean, it's a full rehab. He gives me the story of kind of what happened and what's going on in his life and stuff like that. And we sit down, we strike a deal, make a deal. And he signs the contract that day. And he's ecstatic. I'm happy because I finally got this guy to talk to me. And it's one of my favorite deals. I made a pretty good change on that one.
yeah. That's good. I mean, the reward of the work of 2.5 years is
Mm-hmm.
very gratifying. I've had several deals like that that I worked on years past and they don't pay for years. I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that I got some of those going right now because it's been a challenging couple of years. But, you know, the work still does not compare to if you were going into a 9 to 5 every day to work and you were having to sit on somebody's time clock for 2.5 years to get that pay,
Right.
right? You were dropping that letter off as a reminder. You were dropping that reminder off, probably take you, 5 minutes at the most. If
Mm-hmm.
you add up all the time you spent on that deal, you probably still got paid hundreds of thousands an hour for
Mm-hmm.
working on that project. So love the business and I love your attitude towards the business. You see yourself as you helping people and you see yourself as you providing a service that you get paid well for. What are
Right.
you working on now? Like what's next? What's 2025 hold for Darrien Linton?
Well, I did six figures last year, so I want to get in the higher six figures this year. And so
Hmm.
just working with some sellers now early, still working on, I think I got two closings. I'm working on, I'm trying to get one done this week. And then I know I got
Hmm.
another one at the end of the month. So just trying to, just trying to double or triple what I did last year.
Now, I want y'all to know something because when Darrien told me he made six figures last year, I was like, go ahead, Darrien, because I don't buy everything from Darrien.
Mhm.
So, he must be doing some deals that's not with me. And, I'm a jealous person, y'all. I'm a jealous person. But I don't know about all these deals he's doing. So there's certainly, man, I have a ton of admiration for the fact that you're doing this without just one buyer, right? You've created relationships and created title company relationships of your own. And, you created relationships of your own in order to do this.
Right.
And not only that, but you've also created, you've helped your wife create a spinoff business, right? Of
Yeah.
this. She's doing really well, right?
Mhm.
So the entrepreneurial kind of bug is there and it's working for you. It's exciting. What would you tell somebody that they're trying to do more deals? They may not be doing six figures yet. How do they head in that direction?
You got to talk to more sellers. You got to talk to more people who are looking to sell properties, and you got to talk to more buyers. Talk to sellers
You
and buyers.
know, that's so good. I woke up this morning to a Facebook post from somebody who said you really need to wake up every day like your back is against the wall. Wake up every day like your rent is due,
Hmm.
right? And it's so easy in this business to be lazy or make excuses, especially once you don't have a full time job, y'all. Like people don't like their full time job, but I'm telling you, it's some good things about a full time job. Your boss makes sure you come to work every day. They make sure
Hmm.
you do your job. They don't pay you if you ain't working. Like it's some good things about full-time work. When you are doing this for yourself, it's easy to get up at 10, 11 o'clock.
Hmm.
It's easy
Yeah.
to go exercise. I'm speaking for myself. It's easy to go exercise or go for a walk that's too long or talk to somebody too long where normally when you would have a job, you would instead of talking to somebody for 30 minutes, you might cut that call at 5 minutes because you got places to be.
Right.
Um, you have to have a ton of discipline and self accountability when you're working for yourself. Would you say that to be true?
That's 100% true.
Yeah. So where does that come from for you? Like, what have you done? Because I'm looking at the room. We've got some people live as we record the podcast right now. What are some things you've had to do to cultivate that? Because I know that's challenging for a lot of entrepreneurs.
I mean, you just got to put your mind to it. It's not easy. Like you said, you can get very complacent doing this. You go get a couple of checks and just say you made 30 grand last month. It's real easy to get real lazy real quick, but
And
that
I
30 don't
will
always
say,
last.
you've had some moments where I was like, hey, you ain't doing real estate, are you? You had some moments where I had to check on you, like, hey, I
Yeah.
don't think you're doing real estate deals. And y'all know how I know when Darrien doing real estate deals? Because Darrien's sending me stuff to look at. Darrien, Darrien's sending me stuff like, hey, would you buy this? My fee is this. Are you good? But when I don't get that for about 2, 3 weeks, I'm like, wait.
I'm
you
doing
need to
something
start
else.
talking to some
Yeah.
sellers. And it's the same way for me. I'm not picking on you. It's the same way for me. I have a team that helps me, but when we're not talking to sellers or not making offers, we're not going to get any deal flow.
Mhm.
I post to social media a lot of times. People say, "Oh, it seems like you're picking up your social media again, and you're posting a lot more." It's like, okay, when I post a lot more, I notice opportunities come my way, lenders
Right.
come my way, projects come my way, employees come my way. When I stop posting, I don't get as many DMs,
Right.
right? When I stop marketing, I'm not going to get as much opportunity. And so I love what you're doing. I love your attitude about it. Hey, one of the things I think I can learn from you, how do you stay so positive, man? Like, how do you stay so optimistic, positive? Y'all see the smile. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see Darrien smile. How do you stay like in that positive space all the time? Like people just don't get on your nerves like they get on mine.
I mean, you can't let everything affect you. It is what people they gonna tell you no. They gonna yell at you. Some people yell at you to get mad. Let it go. On to the next. I don't spend a lot of time on it. I might get mad for a second too, and then I'm on to the next. And then I might call 2 or 3 calls, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I want to sell." Whole day, just now we good. Come on, let's go. Don't let it affect you.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't let it affect you. I love that. This is good, Darren. I really appreciate you jumping on here and telling the people your story. I too truly hope that you double, triple, quadruple what you did last year. The year is starting off good. We've seen some
Mhm.
deal flow over the last few weeks.
Mhm.
So I think that's it's promising what's possible. We do have a few people in the live chat, so if y'all have questions for Darrien while I'm looking at my chat box, go ahead and put that in the chat, and I'll ask them live on this podcast right here. Darrien, I do think we didn't really tell people, you know, talk about your why. Like, talk about why you're doing this. What is a 20 or 30 or $5,000 check for that matter do for you and your family? What's that situation?
I mean, it's getting us closer to the freedom part of where we want to be at, to be able to do the different things we want to do in life. The why is, I mean, you got kids. If, if you look behind me, you see some kids right there in the picture behind me. They keep me
Hmm.
going all the time, man. So the why is being able to be free, to be able to do the things that you want. Now, when we grew up, we didn't always have the best. My wife's the same way. Her grandma was an immigrant from England, and so they didn't always have everything. And so you pushing for a different lifestyle and a different life, and just to be able to give your wife, my wife, and kids just the best.
Yeah, I love that. And, I tried to zoom in on the picture for the people because y'all see Darren got some kids, y'all.
I do.
When you first told me how many kids you had, I was like, that boy know how to be fruitful and multiply right there. How many kids you have, Darren?
So my wife has three, and then I had
Uh-huh.
three when we met, and then we
Uh-huh.
ended up having three together, so it's nine.
9 children, y'all. That's a full house right there. That's a full house, beautiful family. Haven't met your kids yet, but I've met your wife several times. Beautiful, beautiful family. Anything else you think people should know before we jump off?
Yeah, you gotta just go out there and do it. If you gotta knock on door, if you don't have any money for it, just knock on doors, talk to people, see if they want to sell. But you gotta talk to sellers every single day if you want to make money in real estate. You gotta talk to people.
Yeah. And if you need help, like knowing what to say, if you need help knowing, like, how to have these conversations, if you just want to be in a group of people or with a community of people that are actively doing real estate deals, maybe it's a little different than a lot of the stuff you see being sold. Just shoot me a DM. Find me on social. Find me at Grab the Map. I'd love to talk to you. Maybe we do some stuff together. Darrien, how can people find you if they want to talk to you after this goes live?
You can follow me on Facebook, Darrien Linton, if I'm on Facebook, or you can just call me. I don't mind.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you for jumping on here and doing this. I know it takes time out of your busy schedule, and I look forward to doing some more deals with you in 2025 as well. Hey, folks, don't forget, I answer every single email that you send to grabthemap@gmail.com. Look forward to doing some business with you all too. Don't just look at it, grab the map.